Hydra Bane with melee upgrades. Okay. I have multiple videos on how to think about Hydra Bane as a full style on YouTube, but here let's just focus a little bit more on the mechanics of how to do the Bane drops. Because I don't think I've really focused super hard on that in particular, and that's the primary reason why Hydra Bane is strong. It's not because Hydra Bane is good at just moving into Protoss. If anything, it's kind of bad for that purpose. Because Archons are a counter unit to Lings and Banes and Hydras. Well, I guess they're kind of a semi-counter to Hydras. Archons are very good. Charge lots are good against the Lings and against the Hydras, but bad against the Banes. And Storm is really good against large numbers of Hydras. So the entire reason why Hydra Bane is the meta against Protoss, if Protoss is going ground, is because of the +2 attack Baneling Drop. If Banelings have +2 melee, they one-shot workers. That is the single important reason for why Hydra Bane is the thing these days. It's not because Hydra Bane is good at fighting Protoss face to face. If you are needing to fight, you can just fall back on creep and try and get us around, and then it does pretty well. But if you're attacking off creep directly into a Protoss base with Hydra Bane, you're probably going to have a bad time, assuming you're around equal skill to the opponent. So the most important thing with Hydra Bane is getting up a really good economy. You want to get that good ass economy, which is around 80 workers if you can manage it. This game I kind of get that messed up a little bit by the Mass Oracle harass, but what are you going to do? So let's talk about the Bane drop, because this is the magical important step. What do you need? What's in your Baneling Drop toolkit? Step 1, rush +2 melee attack. That means getting +1 melee attack pretty fast, and then getting a lair, and then getting +2 melee attack. So you need to invest the gas to get this upgrade right here. This is it. Evolve melee attacks level 2. You need to get that. Another thing, you get that before Bane Speed, and then you can get Bane Speed after. Another upgrade that's really important is Overlord Speed. You have to get Overlord Speed if you want to be in the probe line really fast and catch them by surprise. If you do a slow Overlord drop, maybe you can unload them and walk them in, but that just gives the Protoss a lot more opportunity to micro against it. So what do? How do you set it up? If you have +2 melee on the way, if you have Overlord Speed, if you have an Evo, and if you have a Bane Nest, then what I like to do is either you select your hatches, select your larva, and make 2 pairs of Lings, and then rally it to a place. Take an Overlord, just grab an Overlord, and then fly it over, and then morph it into a drop Overlord. Put that on a hotkey. I have 2 hotkeys that I use for drop Overlords. This one's already on a hotkey. Let me find where that unit is. There it is. Overlord on my 5 group. Sometimes I'll have an Overlord on my 5 and my 6 group. You don't exactly need to put them on groups, but it can help just get to that location on the map really fast. So one of the cool things about setting up a Bane drop is you can send an Overlord, and then let's say this Overlord's not a drop Overlord. If you morph this to drop and these to Banes, you can select the cocoons for the Banes and rally them into the Overlord. And as soon as they're done, they'll get into the drop Overlord. It's great. And while that's happening, you can look at other stuff. You can look at your Lings, you can inject your bases, you can defend some stuff, you can take another upgrade, you could take your Hydra Speed upgrade. One of the most important things with doing any harassment in StarCraft is understanding what macro tasks you have to do behind that. Do you need to take a base? Do you need to do something else? The drop shouldn't occupy 100% of your attention. And Bane drops are pretty cheap to use. So I'm just rallying this. These are all shift commands. And then once it gets close, I'll go to my vision. So I'm taking a 5th base. So I am expanding behind this harassment. And then I think I double tap. Yep, I double tap my Overlord key. I may have just clicked the minimap. You get to it, you deal the damage, and then you go back and focus on your stuff at home. So let's wait for another one. This opponent did open with 1 Phoenix, so they pushed away my Overlords early on, and I'm still sending Overlords across the map. The 1 Phoenix can't defend all 4 of their bases at once. So I did the same thing here. Making some Banes, rallying them into the Overlord. and then I'm focusing on my army. We'll follow my vision. So I'm kind of pressuring the 4th base here. I'm pulling the opponent's attention toward the top of the map. And this time, I sent the Overlord in to drop the natural expansion instead of the main, just to kind of mix it up. I don't want them to be able to predict my moves, and I don't want to repeat myself too much. So this time I sent the same Overlord from this same staging area into the natural expansion. Also because I killed some workers in the main, and they might not have replaced them yet. So this army here is purely a distraction. I have no intention of beating their army at their base with Photon Overcharge. This is just to make them feel like they really need to focus on this engagement. Zerg units are cheap, and they're crappy. So what I want to do is I want to trade out some stuff with my pretty decent economy here. I would prefer to have 80 workers. But I want to trade out some units and just give their probe line a savage beating with these Bane drops. Just keep dropping those Banes. Boom, boom. Shabalam. And see, just killed a boatload of workers. The opponents killed quite a few with the oracles as well. Keep in mind, if you do lose a bunch of workers to harassment and stuff, you should know what your economy goal is and try and fix your economy. So I went down to, I think, 63 workers at one point, and I'm back over 70. Ideally, I would have 80, but 71 to 55, we're doing pretty well. I should set up another Overlord up here at the top. If your drop Overlord dies, you make another one. And I can keep using this staging area. It's pretty far away from any expansions, it's out of vision of the watchtower, but it is pretty close to the opponent. So I'm doing a Bane drop here. Awesome sauceum, just rallying it into the Overlord, focusing on my army. We'll take my vision again. My army's doing stuff. I want the Hydras to fight the Archons and the Banes to fight the Zealots if possible. Cool. It worked. I'm setting up another one up at the top side of the map. There's an Overlord going into their natural. I'm losing the fight, so I run home to creep. Drop their natural. Fall back to the keep. Fall back to the creep. This drop has one Bane and a bunch of Lings. That wasn't really that intentional. I just kind of... I think I lost 3 of the Banes and there was one left over. So I just put some Lings in. So the Banes could soften the probes and then the Lings could clean up some stuff. But yeah, this has just been really consistent harassment damage with drop Overlords. The whole game, 55 probes killed. It's really hard to keep up an economy when you've lost 55 workers. And then I saved the Lings and then made them into Banes. Whenever you morph units as Zerg, they get full HP. So it's going to be a bunch of full HP plus 2 attack Banes. And we're going to drop them again. Let's drop the 4th base. Let's do it. Awesome sauce. Injects. Taking an infestation pit. Killing some Archons. Pulling some drones to fight those Zealots. I did a drop over at the 4th. I just told the Overlord to go. I didn't even look. Let's see what it got. I didn't even look. Sometimes you don't have to. It's just whatever. It's probably going to pay off. So let's see. There are 21 workers here. I wasn't looking. I just rallied this to go drop here. I gave it some shift commands and then I said go drop. And that's what you get. So the command was the Overlord's here. I rallied the Banes in, and then once the Banes were in, shift move command, shift move command, shift move command, shift drop command right here in the middle of the worker line. And then it killed tons. 81 probes killed. Just a nice pickup there. Nice little bit of harassment damage. 20 workers didn't even look. And then we're doing it again because you know what? It worked so dang well the last time. So let's make some Banes and put them on a plane. Why not? When you're maxed, it's nice to split your army up a little bit. So I kind of treat this as my muta group, and this is my main army. And then I have my drop. So I'm trying not to put all my eggies in one basket. I've got 3 baskets. I've got this forward Hydra Ling stuff. I just denied a base here. And then, what do you know? That didn't quite pay off that time. That's fine. Oh, but we saved one Bane. We saved one Bane. How's it gonna work out? Got him. Got two. That's good. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. I mean, the Protoss crumbles. Yep. How to Baneling Drop 101. You can do the same thing against Terran. I've been trying to do that more against Terran. If you go Hydra Bane, you don't have the same like mutaflock as you would if you went Ling Bane Muta to harass their economy and stuff like that. So you can just use +2 attack Banes and kind of accomplish a similar purpose.